It looked like it would never get off the ground. A weather pattern born in the Bering Sea grounded the Friendship flight for 4 days.
You might be getting close to the weather that you're looking for.
So when the forecast finally cleared, pilots gave Nome's weatherman a standing ovation.
Get off our butts and get a fire built under those hoods. That's what I've been waiting to do for over a year.
Pilots made final preparations on the Nome tarmac, including loading extra fuel, unsure just how pure the supply would be on the Soviet side.
That's it. Clear prop.
And with a 20-knot headwind, the Friendship flight was underway. The flight would take off in 8 waves, 15 minutes apart.
This Friendship flight will be the first time so many private planes have flown into the Soviet Union. And for the Soviets, once these planes get there, this will be the largest number of private planes in the entire country.
Clear to go. I'm at 81 Zulu on the way.
Once underway, planes grouped in formation, jockeying to stay at the right altitude toward the Soviet coast. 1 hour into the flight, planes crossed the Soviet border at the Diomede Islands. Pilot Bob Elliott was flying his dream.
Up until a couple, 3 years ago, I didn't think I would ever see the warming of relationships that we've seen. I just never thought I'd see it in my lifetime.
Okay, runway is clear. You can begin and land.
It's the same feeling pilots had when finally landing in Provideniya, 280 air miles from Nome.
The countryside looks so much like Alaska. It's amazing that we've been so far apart all these years, and you can do stuff like this. This is a trip and a half.
Soviet border guards checked pilots and papers, including those of Super Cub pilot Terry Carty, who for years has flown military aircraft for the Alaska National Guard.
I guess it shows that times are changing, and probably for the better. And I like it.
A mission of peace carried on the wings of the Friendship flight. In Provideniya, Todd Pottinger, Channel 2 News.
How to export it to Alaska.
3,000 bottles an hour. Provideniya's Ruskoye brewery pumps out 5 tons of beer every day for the Soviet Chukotka region. This is Soviet state-of-the-art technology, at least in Provideniya. American bottling machines can put out 10 times more bottles in the same amount of time. Upstairs, a new batch is brewing with hops and malt from the Soviet Central Asian Republic of Kazakhstan. All natural, no preservatives, at least according to brewmaster Viktor Barsakov.
We're talking a lot about the necessity to preserve people's health, and we know how bad chemicals and preservatives are for our health. And today, more and more people switch to the natural products.
And what more natural way to get your brew than this roadside bar? A 300-gallon tank with a garden hose for a tap.
Piva.
Mikhail Gorbachev tried to shut down these roadside beer taps 5 years ago to fight the country's alcoholism. But in Provideniya and other rural areas, they survive, fed by the thirst for fresh Ruskoye piva. Price per liter, 1 ruble 30 kopecks, about a nickel. And so with the encouragement of the locals, a taste test from a galvanized bucket.
Sweet tasting. It's like an ale. Really good.
The Soviets are trying to export their Ruskoye, but bureaucracies are keeping the deal bottled up.
If we talk about the quality of our beer, we can just say our beer is very popular. And now, not just people from Provideniya like our beer. Everybody who tries it, even people from Alaska like it.
That's true, but next time, I'll take mine in a chilled glass, thank you.
Спасибо.
Cheers. За ваше здоровье.
Разве можно снимать?
Разрешение есть?
Есть. Где?
In Provideniya, Todd Pottinger, Channel 2 News.
Belly up to the tanker. Tomorrow night.
Start making the most with what they've got.
Is anything bothering you now? The questions are the same, but much of the equipment hasn't been seen in America in nearly 40 years. The drills are still belt-driven. There are no gloves. Formaldehyde is used as an antiseptic for instruments used over and over and between patients.
In effect, she's performing some form of a root canal.
Dr. Ted Beck is a Vietnam veteran fighter pilot turned dentist with a practice back in Helena, Montana, a much different dental practice than this.
This is the best they can do, and where you'd like to provide excellent dental care to each and every individual, it's just, you just don't have the ability to do that, or they don't have the ability to do it.
For 20 years, Ina Starikova has been Provideniya's only dentist. Now, at 51, she fears she'll never get the chance to give her patients the kind of dentistry available in America.
I know that over there absolutely everything is different, that American doctors have much better technology, more assistants. Our comrades went over there and saw everything. And to learn something is always wonderful. And it would be my dream, to see it for my own eyes.
The Soviet equipment might be substandard, but the care is free for every Soviet citizen. And there's no charge for Ina's chairside manner.
From watching her do her dentistry, I believe that she's an extremely good dentist. She really has the hands to do it, and she probably has the knowledge. It's just that what she has is what she has, so you make do.
And Ina hopes she'll be making do with a little help from her American friends across the border.
We keep hoping. We want to keep hoping. Now we have a relationship with you. Maybe you will help us.
In Provideniya, Todd Pottinger, Channel 2 News.
Ranger has her story.
Taganka, a song written in a Moscow prison. And while Provideniya is a bustling community of 4,500, to the American eye, it often looks like a place of exile. It is this stark, lifeless appearance that makes the images of new life here so surprising. My sweet daughter cries. Laina tends her baby in a sandlot in downtown Provideniya. These mothers gather here every noon to share the pride in their children.
Say to the American uncle, you are fine.
This is from the airplane when we came into land.
The children of Provideniya were the goodwill ambassadors for the friendship flight. What do you think of all these folks, Rick?
Oh, these are great kids. We're having a lot of fun.
Every day during our visit, the kids crowded around Provideniya's Dome de Cultura, eager to make friends with the Americans.
I think that many kids in the Soviet Union, especially in inland, when they have no contacts, they are deprived of this. Our kids are already spoiled by Americans, you know, by presents, I mean, by gifts, by contacts, by everything.
And one thing the kids of Provideniya really like to do is trade gifts with their new American friends. Change? Here, ho. Every day we were stripped of our trinkets in a matter of minutes.
What do we got?
A stamp from Vietnam. A fractured fairy tale. Gradually, the symbols of American culture would show up on the Soviet children, but there were some too shy to trade. And what is their future? 10-year-old Slava wants to be a professional violinist, and as he puts it, children of the world unite.
Actually, I hope that they would live better lives than we do, because there are many changes in life now, recently. Perestroika, you know, this word, for sure. And probably they would see more than, for example, me or my father, for example.
It is the children's faces that are the lasting images of our visit, the faces of the Perestroika generation growing up in Provideniya. In Provideniya, Todd Pottinger, Channel 2 News. In every vacation, the time comes to say goodbye. For the 82 Americans on the friendship flight, saying goodbye last week to the people of Provideniya was not that easy to do. In 3 short days, complete strangers, Americans and Soviets, had become like family. The Soviets hosted them in their homes and treated their American guests to some unbelievably generous hospitality. But always, there is the goodbye, as photographer Russ Weston and I show you.
Husband.
It started here, the arrival of the friendship flight, the exchange of cultures, the making of new friends.
Yeah, crash course here in some
smoothing off the rough edges on our Russian here.
What do you think, Mr. Beck?
Well, it's about time to go home, guys.
3 days later at Provideniya's airport terminal, Soviets and Americans reflected on what they had learned from each other.
We spent 3 days with the most honest and generous people I've ever met. I don't think I could find people like this in America.
Hey, good flag?
Yes.
How come?
Good flag.
How come? Why?
Who's that?
USA.
Yes.
They seem to be closer personally than we are, and that's the thing that I really like about them. They're generous to a fault. They'll give anything they have away. They seem to love Americans, and the feeling's mutual. You just fall in love with the people. They are really nice folks.
We come to the conclusion that all people are quite the same. They have the same troubles, the same feelings,
the same hopes.
The same hopes.
Did you ever think this was going to be like this?
If somebody told me a year ago I'd be here, I wouldn't believe it. If I thought the people would be this friendly, I wouldn't believe it. It's hard to describe it. There are hardly words, really, to tell how nice this is.
For many Americans, the friendship flight blew away preconceptions they had about the Soviet people.
Okay. I think it's really a funny thing that probably the people really want to know each other and really want to be friends, and it's the governments who are confused about the issue.
We're trying to find a way to bring them back over with us.
Really?
It's amazing. We got so close in such a short period of time, you know, especially when you don't talk a person's language and you're in their face drawing pictures and making faces at each other. You get to know each other pretty well.
Good. Well, I wanted to see if the Russians were as nice as the people who have been over here said they were. And they're every bit as nice as they said and more. They'll give you the shirt off their back, and they don't have too many shirts.
We will be back, and maybe they'll be with us. That's my biggest hope. They'll come. The door's open.
The door opened with the friendship flight, but it was this personal contact with the people of Provideniya that opened the hearts of these Americans.
The organizers of the friendship flight say they plan another Provideniya fly-in next June. And spasibo bolshoy to Zhenya Prokorenko. Many thanks. Our in-house interpreter here at Channel 2, Zhenya, was a voice of some of the Soviets in our stories this past week.
He comes in handy, doesn't he?
He sure does. Bless his heart.
Nice story.
Thank you. What's up this weekend in the weather?
Well, it looks like it's going to